Welcome to Hamster NBC, a children's news series called Kids Ask Why, where we answer questions that even parents don't know the answers to. I'm Perez the hamster, and next to me is our royal friend and observer of the world's strangest mysteries, Mark the corgi. Today we have a question that seems simple, but actually baffles even adults. Why doesn't a spider stick to its own web if it's so sticky? Imagine a spider slowly walking along the thin threads it just spun. It seems like it should get stuck right away, but it doesn't. And the spider moves easily and confidently. Mark says that if we try to walk on a spider's web, we would definitely fail. And that's true, because the web is very intricately designed. It turns out that not all spider webs are equally sticky. They contain special threads that catch insects, and there are dry paths that the spider uses as a trail. The spider knows exactly where the safe threads are. It feels them with its legs and never takes an unnecessary step so it doesn't fall into its own trap. But that's not all. The spider's legs are covered with fine hairs and a special substance that prevents it from sticking even where the web is slightly sticky. It turns out that the spider is a true engineer. It builds a home, a trap, and a road all at once. And it all works perfectly. Interestingly, insects don't know these secrets. They fly straight into the sticky threads and can't escape, while the spider calmly watches and waits. So nature has come up with a clever solution so that the spider can live in its web without falling into the trap it created. And this is an answer that not all parents really know. Today we learn that even the smallest creatures can be very smart, and sometimes the world around us is much more sophisticated than it seems at first glance. And now that the spiders have finished their work and their webs sway gently in the evening air, it's time to slow down. As the day draws to a close, it's especially pleasant to listen to quiet stories. Stay tuned, because an interesting bedtime story awaits you. A tale from the Arabian Nights series, perfect for a quiet evening and sweet dreams, will begin very soon. And now the day is slowly drawing to a close. The noise grows quieter. Thoughts slow down. And it's time for storytelling. But before we begin, let's do one small but important thing. If you enjoy learning new things, if you enjoy listening to stories before bed, and if you want to come back again, subscribe to the Hamster NBC channel and like this video. This way, you'll help us create even more kind stories and clear explanations for children all over the world. Now, get comfortable. History is waiting for you. This truly happened, but it's long gone. Legends tell that in the distant reaches of the eastern lands, where magic in people's lives was as simple as the change of day and night, lived Shahryar, a great ruler, master of troops, servants, and other people. And in distant Samarkand resided his younger brother, Sultan Shahzaman, and each of them was a just and wise judge of their subjects. 20 years of their separation passed, and Shahryar summoned his Grand Vizier. "Deep sorrow fills my heart," he said, "for I have not seen my beloved brother for so long. Load the camels with the richest gifts. Go to him and beg him to visit me in my domain." "I hear and obey, my lord," the Grand Vizier bowed. And so, a caravan of camels, laden with fine clothing, gold, and precious stones, emerged from the city gates. Ahead of them rode a large contingent of courtiers, warriors, and servants. Their journey lay to distant. Upon receiving his brother's message, Shahzaman was so overjoyed that he feasted with the arriving guests for 3 days. He spent another 3 days preparing for his journey, and so, at the appointed hour, dressed in his finest attire, Shahzaman rode out, accompanied by horsemen and servants. But as soon as the sun sank behind the distant dunes, he remembered he had forgotten at home the special gift he had prepared for his brother. He quickly turned his horse and galloped back to Samarkand. The spirited horse galloped up to the palace, and Shahzaman, unexpected by everyone, ran into his chambers. There he saw his wife in the arms of a slave. Blinded by rage, Shahzaman drew his sharp sword and killed them both. Returning, he said nothing to his companions and continued his journey in silence, harboring his bitterness deep in his heart. But with each step, he grew paler and more silent, and a yellowish tinge shone on his face. Therefore, the vizier was forced to stop the caravan more than once and rest. Shahryar joyfully greeted his younger brother, his face glowing with tenderness his eyes radiant with love. But the dejected appearance and dull gaze of his dear guest disturbed Shahryar. At the banquet table, the young sultan didn't even touch the exquisite delicacies and barely sipped the sweet sherbet. No matter how much his elder brother questioned him, Shahzaman never revealed the terrible reason for his sorrow. "Tomorrow we'll have a great hunt," Shahryar suggested. "A day spent in fun will invigorate your body, strengthen your spirit, and restore your appetite." But Shahzaman declared that it would be better to remain at home, as he did not feel strong enough for such entertainment. The next day, the cavalcade of hunters left the city, and Shahzaman remained in the palace. He sat by the window overlooking the garden, where whimsical fountains sent twisting streams of water skyward, and golden fish swam silently in clear ponds, gently flapping their fins like birds' wings. Birds fluttered among the trees, laden with ripe fruit, their bright plumage resembling the exotic fish in the pond. But nothing eased his sorrow. And suddenly the garden was filled with cheerful voices and loud laughter. Shahryar's wife emerged from the palace doors, surrounded by slaves and maids. She sat down on the edge of the fountain, and a handsome young slave began to embrace her, play, and laugh. The slaves danced around them to the music, and so they amused themselves until dusk engulfed the garden, and then they disappeared into the palace chambers. Shahzaman, hidden behind the window bars, watched them until the last minute. "Oh, fickle fate," he whispered. "Yesterday I was the most miserable person in the world, and today I see that even such a great ruler as my brother can be cunningly deceived." These thoughts brought him peace. "I saw and understood." He explained to himself that even the most powerful rulers in the world cannot trust women, and therefore my misfortune is not so great. And his sadness dissipated, and the color returned to his cheeks. When his elder brother returned from hunting, Shahzaman sat down with him at the table and enjoyed a hearty dinner. Seeing such a change in him, Shahryar rejoiced and said, "You are healthy again and have regained your former strength. So let us give thanks to Allah for this blessing. Tell me now, my beloved brother, what troubled you and what has revived you?" Shahzaman remained silent for a long time and finally decided to tell him everything that had happened. And Shahryar was filled with anger and said that he would have punished his wife and slave in the same way. "Now I understand your grief," he said. "But tell me, how did you manage to recover so quickly? Show me such a miraculous cure." And Shahzaman told his brother without reserve everything he had seen while sitting by the window. He told how Shahryar's wife, surrounded by merry servants and slave girls, was playing with a young slave in the garden. And then, Shahzaman continued, "I realize that your wife is no better than mine." Shame left man's strength and health returned. Mad with rage, Shahryar grabbed his sword and swore to punish his unfaithful wife with a cruel death. But first, he said, he must see for himself. The next day, they announced they were going hunting and would return by evening. With horses swaying, they rode out the main gate and immediately returned unnoticed, entering the palace through a secret door. And then, sitting by the upper window, Shahryar saw his wife appear in the garden and, surrounded by slave girls, began to play and amuse herself with a slave. Shahryar's rage was so great that he immediately summoned the Grand Vizier, ordered his unfaithful wife seized and executed immediately. Then he addressed his brother with these words, "Let the pain and suffering caused by our wives' infidelity never again visit us. From now on, I will marry only for one day and one night. But as soon as dawn breaks, I will order my young wife's execution. Only then will she be able to betray me." Soon, Shahzaman returned to his country, and Shahryar indeed began to act as he had vowed. He ordered the Grand Vizier to bring a bride who would become his wife for one day and one night. They found the most beautiful young girl, brought her to the palace, and celebrated a lavish wedding. The next morning, on Shahryar's orders, she was beheaded, and so it went on for 3 years. Shahryar would marry a young girl, only to have her executed the next morning. Soon, there were almost no young girls left in their land. Some were hidden by their frightened parents. Others fled wherever their eyes could find them, just to escape the all-seeing servants of the formidable ruler. But the Grand Vizier dared not disobey his master and sought brides in the most remote corners of the country. However, the time came when the Grand Vizier was unable to fulfill Shahryar's orders. His envoys scoured the land, but not a single girl could be found. Fearful and anxious, the Grand Vizier returned home, unsure what to do. Would he have to give up one of his daughters, Scheherazade? It must be said that his eldest daughter, Scheherazade, was not only beautiful, but also intelligent. She had read ancient books, knew the legends of kings and bygone peoples, and collected 1,000 tales and fables. Scheherazade understood her father so well that she grasped the cause of his anxiety without words. She reassured him and declared that she would go to Shahryar herself and offer herself as his bride. "Come to your senses, my child," he said tearfully. "Don't you know what it means to marry our ruler? After all, tomorrow I myself will have to lead you to execution." But the girl was adamant. "Everything will be fine," she said. "Go and arrange the wedding, and I will dress up as a bride and appear at the palace." Then she turned to her sister, "Dare Dunjasad know that when evening comes, I will send for you. You will come and sit beside me and ask me to tell you a bedtime story, as I usually did before." Having said this, she ordered the servants to bathe her and anoint her body with pleasant perfumes. They combed her hair, adorned her with precious stones and pheasant feathers, entwined her wrists and ankles with gold chains, dressed her in silk, and lowered a sheer veil over her face. Only then were the horses saddled, and Scheherazade, following her father, set off for the palace. Seeing the vizier bring his daughter, Shahryar became embarrassed. "What?" he exclaimed. "Are you prepared to sacrifice your own child? Scheherazade herself chose to become your bride, O Lord." The dejected father replied, "And I was powerless to dissuade her." Scheherazade knelt before Shahryar and swore to be his faithful wife for as long as her days lasted. Then he took her hand and led her to the wedding feast. As soon as evening faded, Shahryar retired to his chambers with his young wife. He lifted the veil from her face and marveled at her extraordinary beauty. And when he overheard her engaging conversation, he was captivated by her subtle intellect. Then Scheherazade asked for her younger sister, to whom she had not yet had time to say goodbye. Shahryar immediately sent a servant for the girl. Dunyasar appeared and sat as arranged. Embracing Scheherazade tearfully, she said, "My beloved sister, I beg you, tell me one of your wonderful stories, which so delighted us and brightened the last hour before sleep." "If my husband and master so desires and permits," Scheherazade modestly lowered her eyes. Shahryar nodded eagerly, already captivated by both the voice and the beautiful face of his wife. Scheherazade kissed the hands and hem of Shahryar's slippers as he reclined on silken covers, placed his head on her lap, and began to tell. Tales flowed from her lips like the freshest spring feeding the mouth of a great river. One tale followed another, and they were so captivating that Shahryar didn't notice the minutes and hours ticking by, counting the movements of the stars and the moon. But as soon as the night ended and the morning light streamed through the window, Scheherazade stopped her story. "Go on," Shahryar demanded impatiently. "I want to know the end of the tale." "I obey, my lord, but you must grant me one more day so that I can finish the tale in the evening." "Of course I will." Shahryar hastened to agree. Thus Scheherazade extended her life by one day, but the next night she continued unceasingly, telling more and more magical tales, stories, and fables. Those she saved the next day, and the day after that, and the days after that. For Shahryar, thirsting for a continuation, could not end her life in the middle of a fairy tale. Some of these extraordinary stories are collected in our book, and later we will see how Scheherazade's own story ended.